Oh, hey! Good morning, everybody. It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Super cold day today. I don't know what's going on with the weather here in New York, but I mean, it's always been unpredictable, you know. Actually, upstate New York, they actually had like 3 to 5 inches of snow, if you can believe it. I mean, it's mid-May, for goodness sakes, you know. But because Long Island is surrounded by water, you know, it's always a bunch of degrees higher than the rest of the state, you know. So I mean, when we get snow, it's got it. Those guys upstate are getting even more snow, for sure. I'm glad we didn't get snow because I opened up my sprinklers. I don't need all my pipes to burst, you know what I mean, if it went under 32 degrees. Anyway, sold some more stuff on eBay. This is the cup holder for a LT1000 15. And I think a subscriber was looking at my links in all my descriptions for my eBay store. And he bought this bottom Toro Lawn Boy belt cover for the bottom. 10 bucks. So I want to thank all you guys for following my cousin Hank, the AZN Redneck's YouTube channel. He's over 100 subscribers! Yeah! He doesn't do that many videos, though. I'll have to get him to make some more. Shout out to one of my first subscribers ever when I first started making YouTube videos, Mike Baldwin from upstate New York. I hope you guys got a lot of snow up there. Mike and I were talking a long time ago when I first started doing YouTube videos. It was when I got a hold of that Forrest Gump Can't Buy Me Love snapper, you know, ride-on. He had a bunch too, so I was watching his videos and asking him questions because, you know, I was a greenhorn. I didn't know anything really too much about it, you know, so I was trying to learn from people that had already done snappers, you know, and I had ended up getting 2 of those, and I sold them for very little money, like $300 maybe, something like that. They're really not worth working on, honestly. I mean, you see them all over the place for pretty cheap. Some people have them listed for $400 or $500. I'm like, what are you, crazy? But I know my friend Mike Baldwin, he had a bunch too. His is Bleached PC. That's his YouTube channel. Go check him out. I really don't know what Bleached PC means, but everybody's got their own unique name. You know what I mean? So today we're going to be working on episode 3, I believe, of my John Deere L100 lawn tractor that I got for free. That's right, free. I don't want it to be free. And then a pause. That's right, free. I mean, I could do that, but, you know, my videos were getting like almost an hour again. You know what I mean? I know some of you guys like the long videos because got nothing to watch on TV. Although I hear that NASCAR is starting up pretty soon, which is very, very, very exciting. No audience, just a bunch of guys driving around the track, you know. But I don't know how the pit crews and all that stuff are going to work it out because while the pit guys actually wear helmets, right? Will the virus go underneath the helmet, or do you have to wear a mask underneath the helmet, you know? So that's interesting. Also, the management guys, you know, the strategists and the spotters, all that stuff, do they have to wear masks? And when you come out and you do the celebration, if whoever wins, right? The pit girls, do they have to wear masks? It's interesting. Also interesting was the gas that I pulled out of that L100 yesterday. You noticed that the top part looked like the gas. Well, the bottom part looked like the gas and the top part looked like water. But usually the water is heavier than the gas, so the water is usually on the bottom. So my friend Mark Neese, Fleur 67 man, he told me it's called phase separation. Bunch of subscribers said that. Phase separation is when it's the process of the ethanol breaking down with the moisture and the water, right? And the bottom becomes the water, but if it doesn't look like water completely, it looks like gas, it's in the middle of separating, you know? So that gas is bad. So I'm glad I got all that gas out of there because that wouldn't have started. Today we're going to be working on the carburetor. And, yeah, the carburetor. Clean the carburetor. Gas tank was blown out yesterday. Fuel lines were blown out. sort of, or at least drained, you know, and it appears that the fuel pump works. So we know the engine starts. It can run with a fuel system, you know, with fuel delivery. So all we need to do is clean the carburetor, connect the hoses, see if it stays running. I did look at the deck a little bit. I might have to take that deck off and loosen everything up because you can't even budge anything under there. But we'll see what happens. For you Bobo lovers, you won't be able to see him today because rain all night, and this part is just so muddy and stuff. If he comes out, I'll spend another hour just washing him, you know what I mean? Because that kid is all fur. Anyway, I decided that because I can't find a magneto for this Mantis SV4B, right? Because the magnetos are over $70 to replace, and even if I did that, it may not run after all, you know? So I'm not going to spend that kind of money to, you know, to get this going, you know? So I'm just going to sell it as is. I know that I could part it out for maybe $100 on eBay, but I don't want to go through all that trouble. I listed it for 40 bucks yesterday, and I have like 13 people who want it as is, not working, no spark, all that. So it's a popular item, you know. There are people out there who want it. I definitely don't want it because apparently my Greenworks dethatcher works very well in my yard as a cultivator, and my yard is pretty much done with that thing. So all you Greenworks haters, it worked for me, and that's all that counts, is that it worked for me. I don't even like electric and especially corded electric items, you know, but this thing did the job for what I needed to do. Saved me a lot of work. So hopefully some nut will come and pick this up off my driveway and leave 40 bucks under the windshield wiper of my car. The coronavirus way. So things always work out as long as you be patient about things. I was kind of in a hurry to sell my set of Harbor Freight ramps, which, remember, I couldn't wait, so I had to go to Harbor Freight to buy it with the coupon. I ended up getting it for 44 bucks, which is great. That's what I've been using to pick up this John Deere and, you know, all that other stuff, and delivering another one for a sale. And then, well, I thought that I'd never ordered them in the first place, right? 3 weeks later, Harbor Freight sends me another set of ramps. And, of course, they charged me $62 for it, you know. So, all in all, I got 2 sets of ramps for about $105, right? So, I listed the second set that I had on locally, whatever. And some nut gave me $100 yesterday for the new set, you know. So, it all worked out great, you know. I ended up getting a pair of ramps for free. I love free. Free is great, you know. So we're going to get to this today. As you know from yesterday's episode, I'm going to do a real fast recap. I changed the magneto. I put the flywheel back on after cleaning it. I replaced the 1016 amp stator with a dual circuit stator. I haven't removed it yet, but I disconnected the voltage regulator because you don't need it with a dual circuit stator, right? We put a new Everstart battery in there. Everlast is the boxing thing. Everstart, brand new battery. I got 5 a little while back from Walmart, and I have 2 left. And this is a brand new battery. It's a 230 cranking amps, and this is from May of 2020, so it's a brand new battery. This fires up with go-go juice. Drained the tank of the phase separation fuel that was in there. Cranked it some more to get the fuel pump to shoot out the remainder of what was inside the tank, as well as the fuel lines, right? It's all connected now. The fuel pump seems to work. I put a rebuilt starter in there. The starter was rebuilt by... That's right, Henry at Mowers and Blowers rebuilt that starter. And it works! I'm getting good with this rebuilding the starter thing, you know? So, got the starter, stator, magneto, flywheel, battery, fuel pump, gas tank. All that's been done. It only took like, I did all that yesterday. That's why the video was like an hour, you know? Like I said, the deck will probably have to come off. And loosen up the spindles and the brake, the brackets, and the pulleys, you know. Just got to check it out because I think this thing might, you know, clean up pretty well. I ordered some yellow duct tape. You know, Gorilla Tape doesn't make yellow duct tape, or Gorilla Tape doesn't make yellow. At least on Amazon they don't. So there's a couple of cracks there. I just need a little. So all we need now is to check out the condition of the carburetor. I did click the ignition switch to see if the fuel solenoid clicks. If it clicks, it probably means it's working. The valve is opening and closing with the ignition, and it does seem to work. It clicks. But we'll take that carburetor off and check out the condition. If it looks good, we'll just put it back on again and connect the fuel line, put some fresh gas in there and see if it fires up. Or, if it's dirty, we gotta clean it! That's what we gotta do! I ordered a carburetor for that Homelight weed whacker that Larry gave me. While it did run and everything, right, the primer bulb was like stuck and cracked, and well, cracked after I tried it, you know, and replaced the fuel lines, and I tried to make another carburetor out of 3, but it didn't work, so I just ordered one that was like $13. But I know that I was looking at the piston and everything from the opening of the carburetor, and it's a good piston, you know, clean, smooth, no scoring. So I figured, you know, it might be worth spending $13 and getting a new carburetor. I could always use a backup Homelight, and if not, I'll sell it for $75. Which I don't know how people buy these things for $75. You know what I'm saying? And they do. Don't say that they don't, because I'm telling you, I have sold old weed whackers for like $100, $75, $50, right? But they're brand new at Home Depot or Walmart for $98. So I don't know why people buy this stuff if they, I mean, they just don't know, I guess, you know? Like the guy who bought the ramps for $100. If he just went on Google and Googled ramps, he could see that they sell them for $59.99 at Harbor Freight. And if you're smart enough to have a coupon, you can get it for $39.99. But people are just not. Either they're not smart enough, they don't want to be smart, they don't want to look for it. Hey, if you want to overpay, go ahead. As long as I'm benefiting from it, who cares? I don't know this dude from Adam, right? If I can squeeze $100 out of a $40 pair of ramps, whatever, $60 profit, you know what I mean? The smart will survive. So if you're not smart, get smart, and then you could survive and profit and do well. So actually, if you think about it, right, there's enough dumb people out there to keep you living forever. I can go out to every Harbor Freight Tools store and buy $39 ramps all day long and sell them for $100 every day. So I can make $60 a day for literally doing nothing. How about that? And that's just one item. What about the other items that we're talking about? That if you're smart enough to get it for super cheap, you can just sell it for a profit. Again, I'll say it again. In America, as long as you have a good brain and you know how to hustle, you can make a living. You just are busy every day, though. Hey, what are you going to do? You're going to sit around your living room watching TV all day doing nothing and not making a productive day out of it, you know? Get off your couch, go out and make some money. How about this angle, huh, fellas? My new tripod is absolutely fantastic. To remove one of these single-cylinder Briggs carburetors is pretty easy, actually. First, we'll disconnect the fuel solenoid wire. It's a positive and negative that go into it that cause the fuel solenoid to energize and de-energize, and the valve goes in and out of the emulsion tube. It's designed for not backfiring. Of course, it doesn't really fit. Sons of guns. Thought I was going to be able to do this easily. Disengage the brake. Maybe that'll give me more room, and it looks like it does. Genius! Of course, I don't have the 7/16. Did I say 3/8? I meant 7/16. You need a 7/16 socket to get the 7/16 nut off the air filter thing. Air filter elbow channel, if you will. Pull the vent tube off. This comes off. Then you've got 5/16 studs over here. Just loosen them up. Take both studs out. This was not on all that tight. Break the gasket seal like this. Click. Rotate this way so that the choke lever comes out like this. Downwards. Last hole right there. Small tension wire here with a hook in the small hole. Small hole. Easy for you to say, Henry. Sometimes you gotta fight it a little. Especially since this has been sitting for a while, you know, things are not as free and loose. There you go. So the two things here. There's the governor linkage and the tension wire that's attached to it. Believe it or not, people say, you look at this little wire here and you're like, what the hell does that do? Believe me, it does a lot. Sometimes you stretch that too much, it'll surge. If you put some tension in it or put a bend over here to make it more tight on the tension, will fix your surging problem sometimes, you know? Sometimes. So looking at this carburetor here, this is an original Walbro. I believe it's an LMT 4993. LMT 4993. Man, I'm good. So this is tricky here. 1/2 inch. See, look, the solenoid, it moves along with the nut. So you gotta not only find a wrench that'll fit in between here, because most wrenches are too thick for you to fit. So you have to kind of grind one down. I don't know where I put that thing. So I can never find the wrenches that I grind down. So I found this thing. I don't know where I got it from, but it works. So you get to loosen this thing. Here, you know what? Since we're here, let's do this. I'm just going to show you guys how this works. Put the brake back on so I don't have to sit on it. I'm amazed that the safety switch actually works with this. Here we go. See? So now it's extended, right? When you turn the key switch to the first setting, or any setting actually, it retracts and allows fuel to go in. Sometimes over time, ethanol, gum, whatever, break that down and it gums up. And when it gums up, it gets stuck, and that's why it doesn't start, which is the reason why I hate these things. So I usually just cut it and throw it away, but since it works, I guess I'll just use it for now. Until I run into a problem, then I'll cut it. So this is on here really good, like I said, years, you know. That fuel mixture screw is rusted, you know. Everything else actually moves, which is pretty good. And even this spring-loaded butterfly choke thing actually works, which is amazing. But pull this off. Look at that, all that dust. But you know what, though? There was nothing in there, no fuel, which is good. So let's see if this thing moves. How about that? the fuel needle actually moves freely. Let's test it. Can't blow any air when it's up. When it's down, blows freely. How about that? How about it? Pretty clean, actually. How about that? You know what? I'm just going to put this back on. What do you think about that? Carburetor seems clean, but you know what? I'm going to blow it out anyway. So I just tried to remove this little black thing to get that out, but sometimes, I mean, I've broken these things trying to get this little black thing off, which restricts you from turning it more than a half turn, you know, or a quarter turn, which is a pain in the butt, you know. They don't want you to adjust it too much, which is why they put it on there, you know, but you can't really adjust it if that thing's on there, and sometimes when you try to remove it, it breaks. So I'm not going to try to break it because, look, it's rusted like crazy, you know what I mean? And I usually like to try to get that main jet out of there, you know, but won't budge, won't even move, you know. So I'm not going to try because I usually strip it. So, you know, don't break something that it seems like it's okay. I'm just going to try it, you know. I did blow through the emulsion tube and the holes with carb spray. And the holes over here, they all went through somewhere, you know what I mean? So it seems to be good. The bowl's yucky, so I'm gonna clean it. An easy way that I find to clean the bowls is just get one of these things, you know, one of those kits from Harbor Freight. It's cheap, it's like $3.99 or something. Put it in your drill. And while it doesn't really fit in there, if you kind of slowly rotate it and push down, it'll go in. And that makes it actually tighter. Move it around, wiggle it just a little bit. Ding! Pretty good. Then if you really want to get it clean, reverse it, because now all the bristles are pointed the other direction, so it'll be even harder. See, I can't even push it in now. But I wanted to get the rim, see? Ooh, ouch. But be careful, you should wear gloves. Anyway, my buddy John Pruss over in Madison, Tennessee, he's turning wrenches, 85. He ends up getting the same things. I mean, I have a lot of wrencher friends in Small Engine Nation that it's so funny. They all end up getting the same tractors that I do, same mowers, same equipment. We all have like the same equipment, you know? And so John pretty much started his John Deere L100 project almost exactly the same time as I did. So it's kind of funny how things happen, you know. I follow his channel too. If you guys want to follow my buddy John Pruss over at Turning Wrenches, it's turning_wrenches85. He's available on YouTube as well as Instagram. So check him out. He's a good guy. Really good guy. I've known him a while. One day when I'm in Tennessee and I want to get lynched, because, you know, they don't find too many Asian boys down there in Tennessee. You know what I mean? I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be with John the whole time, because, you know, I ain't going to be walking around by myself. You know, them hillbillies take their shotguns and shoot me. Because, you know, they don't find too many Asian boys down there. Oh, the last time I saw an Asian boy was when my papa went over to Vietnam. You know, unfortunately, when you're Asian and not white living in America, I mean, I'm as American as they are, but just because the way I look is a little bit different than them white boys, you know, some people just don't like people of other colors. So, you know, you always got to be cautious. But like I said, I used to be a police officer, so I don't really worry too much about it, you know. Just fight back is all. Anyhow, so I've got this on here. You can only just try, you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. I've got a lot of other carbs, so if this doesn't work, we will try another one. So the small tension thing is in there. The big governor throttle linkage is in there. Here's the choke. Remember, you want it curved outwards. Like the channel thing goes in there, and then the linkage comes outwards, you know, like this thing here. In other words, not like that, you know, because if it was like that, you know, this thing would be pointed inboard, you know. So you want it pointed outboard. That's a airline and maritime term, inboard and outboard. And this goes into the channel right there. This is what pushes the choke. So we'll take it off. So you see how that happens there? So now you can slide that in. Match it up. Gasket's good. Match it up to the intake manifold. The seal between the intake manifold and the gasket has to be really good. You want to make sure that no air seeps through. It has to be like a vacuum, so it has to be tight. So if you have a crazy a bad gasket, you got to replace it. And if you don't have one, you don't want to wait for hours upon days trying to get the gasket, you can make one out of cardboard or cereal box, or even roofing flashing material. I've done that before with success. Takes a long time to make though, because you gotta, you know, be really precise in your cuts and holes. You can use a drill and an X-Acto knife and a razor blade to help you cut it. Make sure you have a nice crisp wrench, like I don't have here, because you can strip the nut, which I kind of did. Now hopefully I don't have to take this off again. Tighten that. And I'm not going to put on the air cleaner base elbow because we don't know if it works yet. But you want to kind of make it tight. That's pretty tight. All right. Well, you know what, man? Here, I'm going to connect the solenoid wire onto here. And the fuel line. Oh, boy. We're getting so close. Oh, my goodness. I'm so nervous. And I guess we put some gas in here, man. Right? See how that works? Throttle up to here. That's where the full throttle is. Push a little bit more to choke, right? And this thing pushes this, closes the choke flap. And also the tension wire moves the throttle. See that? That's how it works. This is the idle screw. So when the engine is running, right, it pushes that way. When you have it at the lowest idle, which it is right now, you can adjust whether or not it stalls or not, see? So if it's about to stall, right, turn this in clockwise to push it out just a little so it won't stall. Anyway, just a little tidbit of how you adjust the idle. So I've had the gas cap off all night. Just, you know, maybe it's going to evaporate whatever's in there, but it still has some. And I just don't feel good about it because that ass was like ass gas with the phase separation. And I look inside, and it looks like there's like a layer of water, maybe, small little layer, you know, like a 3-inch oval of water plus a little bit of the bad gas on top of it. So I'm just like soaking it up with like this old pair of sweatpants that I just cut up in pieces for rags. It's pretty absorbent because they're sweatpants. Sweatpants are for absorbing sweat. I like sweatpants. You guys notice that all I wear are like track pants or sports athletic pants because jeans are uncomfortable. Unless you're going out and doing something, I don't wear anything but just sweat or track pants or athletic pants. In the summer, I just wear shorts. Because it's not like I'm meeting the Queen of England anytime soon. I don't need to dress up for people. Just put a good amount of gas in there. And you know what? It's going to take a lot of cranking for that fuel pump to suck the gas to the front. So I might try to help it out a little bit. To reduce the amount of cranking time to get the gas here, I'm gonna suck on it. Suck on it! Oh, that might be the bad gas, but you know what? I think I suck. As long as you don't swallow it, you're okay. It's a disinfectant for coronavirus. Okay, here we go. The moment of truth. Don't you just love these moments when you're ready to fire it up? You know, just to see if all that work pays off, you know? Okay, I'll hurry up. Jesus. Here we go. I'm so nervous. I'm always nervous at this time. Choke. Here we go. Everything's not in the way? Okay. So it's got a crank so that the gas goes into the bowl, fills up, gets sucked up the emulsion, goes into the intake. So it takes a while. This is idle. Uh-oh. I forgot to attach the magneto. How about that, guys? I forgot to attach the magneto wire to the thing, you know, so it didn't shut off, but it shut off by itself. You know, as you guys heard, it kind of surges, right? So I want to do the fuel adjustment, right, screw, but like I said, it has that black thing on there, and I'm afraid to touch the black thing because I might break it. And if I break it, I mean, carburetor is pretty much useless if you can't adjust the fuel mixture, and it's, you know, it's not adjusted right, so it'll stay there like that, you know? So I guess I'll try to take this little black thing off and try to adjust the fuel mixture, you know, and clean that hole, because it could be rust buildup in that hole. If not, I could try another carburetor. But I think maybe a mixture of the fuel, because it seems like it's starving for a little bit of fuel. But how about it, huh? Runs and everything, man. Stays running too. So that fuel tank, the gas lines, and the fuel pump situation has worked out. You know, blowing it out, sucking the bad taste in my mouth, you know. Sucking all that stuff out, it worked because real gas is getting into the engine, and we got rid of that bad gas, you know, with the water, the phase separation gas. Man, that's awesome. I'm going to check the oil and try to remove that little black thing on the thing. Remove the screw and blow it out. Okay, so I took some side cutters, right? And I just cut like the half of the black plastic thing. I went, like that, and went, one side went off, and I took off the other side. I removed the screw, the fuel adjustment screw with that, you know, and I just turned it off, pulled it out. the spring was all rusty and stuff. And then I just took some carb cleaner or this multi-purpose parts cleaner and degreaser. This is the best. As a matter of fact, Larry came by the other day and he wanted a couple of cans. I'm like, can I give you a brake cleaner instead? He goes, does the brake cleaner blow up the gaskets? I go, yeah. He goes, no, I want that stuff. That stuff doesn't blow up gaskets. I want that. So I'm like, this is my favorite. Like, he's like, oh, you got plenty. Lucas Oil will give you more. I'm like, yeah, they probably will. So I gave him 2 cans. Anyway, this stuff is great. From my friends over at Lucas Oil Products. All right. Anyway, so I just took that and I blew it. Stuck that thing back in there. Watch. Watch. Watch.
That Henry's a nut.
Low throttle. Idle. Woohoo! Doesn't surge anymore. Runs great. And I connected the magneto wire. And it shuts off. Awesome! Awesome! So you know what I'm going to do? It runs, starts. I was thinking about doing the valves, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? If it starts up just fine, why would you want to mess with the valves? Let's see. Well, you gotta throttle a little, you know? Oh, you gotta choke it, you know? All right, I'll tell you what. I'll check the valves. I gotta tell you, I really love my new tripod. It's at the low setting now, so you guys can see at this level. So I've got my DeWalt impact wrench, impact gun, with 3/8 socket. I put a little rag here because there's going to be some Earl that comes out. And of course I had to do this after I just ran the engine, so everything's like super hot. I'm going to burn my hand. But yeah, since this has been sitting for like 10 years, it would be prudent for us to check the valves. Probably needs some adjusting.
Don't break the gasket, Henry.
I won't. And a gasket is nice. I didn't break it. And the Earl is good looking. It's good looking. The oil is very attractive. Oh, sons of guns. You know what I got to do? Should I do it without even checking if it's top dead center? Let's see if we can just do it without it. You know, that's exhaust stroke. Huh. I mean, I think this is top dead center, but I'm not sure because I can't see, you know? When they're both loose like this, that's when you can tell. But you know what? I got to take the spark plug out just to check for sure. Just to be sure, I'm going to pull the spark plug out. Man, so hot over here. Guys, I've got so much to do now. I've got 2 mowers to fix, 2 weed whackers. I don't know when my next day off is going to be, you know. I've been making videos every day for the past, well, since I got sick. Remember, I got sick in January. And I think when I got sick in January, I mean, I only had like the flu, a mild strain. I only was out of commission for like 4 days. But I think maybe I got it. I had it back then, you know? COVID, I mean. But then again, I didn't have a shortness of breath. I didn't have a major fever or anything, and I had flu symptoms, you know, so I don't know. I was right. That is top dead center. How about that? I found top dead center without using a screwdriver, but it's good to confirm. So anyway, what the hell did I do with that? So I've got my feeler gauges here, right? 4 and 6. So 4 is the top, okay? A little out of whack. Bottom exhaust is 6. Wait a minute. Yep, intake. Wait a minute. Am I losing my mind? Bottom is the intake, duh. Top is exhaust. Okay, so 4 on the bottom. That feels pretty good. I mean, a little bit. Needs a little bit. Exhaust is a top 6. So for the Briggs & Stratton engines, right? Single cylinder around 13 through 20, all right? They're all the same, pretty much the same engine. They're just bored differently, you know, with different components. For the exhaust, it's usually 5 to 7 1,000ths. So I use 6, which is the middle. And the bottom intake is always 3 to 5, so I use 4. Give or take, you know. Honestly, the bottom intake seems to be fine. It's a little loose. So I'm just going to get a wrench and just turn it a little. Of course I don't have the right one. Of course I got to get up and do it. Let's see. Got a 10 mil here. Will this work? Hey, this will work. 10 millimeter works. So look, since it's so slight, I'm just going to turn it like that. Hey, there you go. Yeah, that's good. I mean, this is like 3, you know, which is within specs. And then the 6 on the top. 6 on the top is kind of out of whack, so I'm just going to turn it a little bit more. Oh, that's great, right there. And a little bit more.
Henry, is that how you do valves?
Well, that's how you do valves if you're not off by much. You know what I'm saying? The easy way, you know? The real way you do it is you have to get torque wrenches out that fit perfectly here. And so you loosen that so you can turn this more, you know what I mean? And then hold it with the wrench and then tighten it to get it where you need it to be. But if it's just a very small adjustment, right, and it's very tight already, you can just move it a little bit so that it closes the gap from where you want it. That's good. And that's good. So that's it. That's adjusting my valves. A quick and dirty way, huh? I got a quick and dirty for carburetors, and I got a quick and dirty for valves. No need those crazy torque wrenches. It's not necessary. Clean the surfaces here. It's not the space shuttle, just valve covers. That's all it is. Valve covers, you can use RTV or the original gasket because it's not under tremendous pressure as a head is, you know. So you can get away with this because there's actually this wall there that separates the pressure from the crankcase. So let's see, let's just do, while I'm doing this, let's do a real fast recap of what I've done to this tractor. Stator, battery, magneto, clean the carb, broke off the flywheel, replaced the flywheel. I said magneto, right? Magneto, battery, flywheel, stator. Adjusted valves, clean the carburetor. Check the Earl. Loosen up the rust parts.
Henry, you're doing it too hard.
Now, if it still spins a little, you want to just click it a few times. That is good. I'm going to put the spark plug back in. Connected the magneto wire onto the magneto. Oh, I pumped up the tires a little bit. Oh, and I added a starter motor because it didn't have one. So, guys, it looks like I could actually put the cover back on here again, button it up, because I can't think of anything else left for us to do. Oh, we did blow a rat's nest out of here, and my first live mouse was captured on video. I don't care what you guys say. I'm telling you, I do not have mice in my area. I haven't seen one in 20 years. My friend Larry and Scott Keller were giving me the business about it, saying, there's rats and mice everywhere. I said, I've never seen one, though. They're not in my area if I've never seen one. I mean, look, I've got possums and squirrels and rabbits and coons. I've got all that other stuff. But I don't have any mice. I haven't seen one. And, of course, I worry about the fact that I just brought a mouse into the area, right? But this mouse needs to create with another mouse. So if there's not another mouse, there's not going to be an infestation of mice. Some possum will eat that poor mouse. So, let's see if it starts easier now. May not make a difference. Choke. See? Doesn't start any easier. I'm going to put the covers back on.
What do you think? Let's go for a ride. The steering is very stiff. And I can't reach the pedals because I'm too short. Baby, 3 episodes, free John Deere L100, runs and drives great. Steering is very stiff though, it's rusty. I think I have to just move it around, put some penetrating oil on the gears, the sectors, the steering column. Steering. Uh-oh. 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 I better not run out of gas. I'm in the middle of nowhere. So I just turned around because I didn't want to get stuck somewhere. I didn't go around the block yet, just turned around. I don't know. Runs great now. Sometimes there might be maybe a piece of rubber from the hose that got loose from the fuel filter that went into the carburetor or something like that, you know? Could be something like that. But now it runs fine. Gotta fix the steering, it's very stiff. And see the brakes. Brakes are good. I'm a little worried about trying the PTO. Should I try the PTO? Because if it's all like rusted up and stuck, I could break the belts if I tried. Or I could loosen them up if I tried. Should I try like slowly? Maybe I should try it slowly. Or should I take off the deck and do it right? You know what? I'll just gauge it. Neutral. High throttle. Okay, I'm just going to move it a little and see. Completely engaged, nothing's moving because I think I'm just stretching the spring because the idle tensioner, the tensioner arm is not moving because it's seized shut, you know? So it's just the spring that's pulling. I'm not gonna push it. I'm gonna back this into my garage and shut it down. So I think I'm gonna change the fuel filter, just to be sure that it's not getting clogged, which jeopardizes the amount of fuel flow from the fuel pump. So I changed the fuel filter, and the old fuel filter looked relatively clean, so I'm not sure if that was it. But I also did the grease fittings on the front, and it only needed like half a pump. There was plenty of grease in there. So obviously this thing was sort of maintained up to the point that he dumped it, you know, on the side of the barn. I'm stoked, man. 3 days ago when I got this, right? It was on the side of a barn for like past 10 years, rusted shut, you know, whole thing, everything was seized on it, you know. But a little bit of grease, a little bit of elbow grease too, loosens things up. So we did pretty much to this thing, you know. Stator, starter, armature, magneto, ignition switch, fuel pump, fuel filter, air filter I just put in. Put the whole thing back together again. Adjusted the valves, drained the gas tank, blew out the lines, added a battery. I mean, I know it's hard to believe, but I mean, I had all this stuff on hand, you know, so honestly, the only thing I really paid for was the battery. You know, it's a new battery in there, $25. Other than that, I hadn't paid any money for this, you know what I'm saying? All the parts I had already from either sponsorship or, you know, just buying in bulk from China, you know? Not China, China. So, steering is still stiff. It hesitates sometimes, which I don't know why. It's a fuel delivery system, you know, a fuel delivery issue. You get that when you have rear gas tanks. You know, if that fuel pump is not pumping exactly the way it should, whatever, not enough fuel is going at high throttle and you're going to hesitate, you know what I'm saying? So, or, you know, you slosh it around a little bit, driving forward, backwards, there's an air pocket, you know what I mean? It could be anything. So that's why I hate the fuel pump and the rear gas tank stuff. I'd rather just have the gas tank straight shot, gravity fed right into the carburetor, you got no issues. But whatever, it's too much trouble to convert, so I'll run it a little bit for a few days and we'll see what happens with the hesitation. Maybe I'll have to swap out a new fuel pump, maybe. Or maybe it's just some debris in there, you know. Maybe I'll drop the bowl again, take a look. That might be it too. Can you believe the lights work without doing anything? Wow, what a bonus, man. Hood is in great shape. I think the hood will clean up really well. It smells like piss. The heat of the engine heating up the excess rat piss stinks. I'm going to have to power wash the entire engine compartment and the whole thing. I'm going to have to get some green paint to touch it up too, because there are a lot of rust spots that I want to clean up. Got to get a couple of cans of that black quick color. I've already used it all up. Tomorrow we're going to drop the deck. Take the deck out. Try to loosen up the pulleys, the arms, the tensioners, the idlers, and the blades. And just to check out the overall condition of the PTO cable, all that. So we're going to work on the deck tomorrow and see how far we get. But other than that, this thing is starting, running, and driving. I am stoked. Hey, John, over at Turning Wrenches, how far along are you on your L100, huh? I'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.